Here to talk to you. I'll be talking about a project specifically, but just a little short thing on my background. I did a PhD in natural products. I've always been interested in biologically active natural substances. I've worked on Australian native plants and also on many herbal medicines. The project I'll talk about today is on propolis. It's the reason why I'm interested in propolis, or our research group's interested in propolis, is because it's a material that's collected by bees from plants, and it is accepted as a complementary medicine. And it's a listable substance with the TGA. So we sourced some propolis from around Australia, but the propolis of greatest interest came from Kangaroo Island. And as you can see in the picture, there's a honeybee, and it's collecting resinous material off kangaroo thorn. So kangaroo thorn's a native Australian plant, Acacia paradoxa. Okay, so the resin is the material that the bees use to make propolis. Okay, so the bees carry the resin back to the beehive, and in beekeeping practice, you can put what we call a propolis mat inside the hive. You take the lid off the hive, put the mat on, and the bees don't like the slots in the mat. They fill this up with propolis. So this propolis can be very easily taken out. Okay, so basically what is propolis? So it's made from plant resin, and the bees mix the plant resin with beeswax to give it a suitable consistency. And they use it to patch holes and cracks in the hive. It also has disinfectant properties, which is also important for bee health. Okay, so as part of our project, it was very important for us to define basically we want to have a connection with the plant, and we're also working with the Kangaroo Island beekeepers to produce a high quality propolis. So we were trying to identify the plant source, and we did this by tracking the bees. Okay, so how do we know that we found the plant source? Well, we see bees collecting the material on the plant. We capture the bees, we can take the resin off their legs, we can get the resin off the plant, and we can get the propolis from the beehive. So we've used a method of analysis which gives us, it's very information rich, and it enables us to make fingerprint comparisons. Okay, so the PhD student in our group, Douglas King, he's worked out a statistical method of comparing these, so we can look at the variability in the plant resin and also in the propolis from the hive. Okay, so propolis as a medicine, propolis is an accepted material. It's very different from other materials that bees produce, like honey in particular. Like honey is always a mixture of glucose and fructose and other sugars, and there is some commonality between honeys from different plant sources. But this doesn't apply for propolis. The only thing that may be common between two samples of propolis could be the beeswax. The other constituents could be totally different. However, there is a commonality in terms of complementary medicine use, because of the propolis often has a fungus, antifungal and antibacterial activity. And this has been accepted and been in use for thousands of years, and I think every country in the world, the government will accept propolis as a traditional material. It's indeed the case in Australia. Okay, so it's listable with the TGA, and it may be associated in a generic way to low-level claims. Okay, so from our point of view, the propolis collected from native flora is very useful for pharmaceutical research, because we want to find new molecules with interesting biological activities. So this could be developed into pharmaceutical products, and the other side of it, of course, is that we could enhance the value of the propolis as a herbal medicine because its variability be defined and quality defined. Okay, so we found that the propolis in general, worldwide, is extremely variable because it depends on the plants that the bees work from, and it's often of limited medicinal use because of allergy. Okay, so just talking more specifically about our current research project, the Kangaroo Island is a great place for propolis because the bee there is a particular type which collects a lot of propolis. It's a bee sanctuary, so the bees are very well controlled. The vegetation is fairly intact, so the bees are collecting off Australian native plants. Okay, so we found one particular plant which is extremely interesting. It's a sedge plant, and from this sedge plant we found that the bees collected the actual propolis itself was of novel composition. The substances in it were very, very different. There's nothing else like it anywhere in the world. Okay, so we isolated a lot of the substances and had them tested at the National Cancer Institute in Maryland in the USA. So this is a university patented the technology, and there's a company which has licensed the technology. So there's commercial development going on at the moment, and that's in the early stages. So it's pharmaceutical drug development. Okay, just a quick look at some of the molecules. Falling into two categories, the cinnamates, they do have some biological activity, but the main activity is with the we call stilbenoids. And these substances you may be aware of as resveratrol, and resveratrol is in red wine, in grapes, and has a very potent antioxidant activity. There's a metabolite of resveratrol which is picotanol, on this slide as well, and that's also present in the propolis. So the propolis has resveratrol-like substances and picotanol, and these substances have very potent activity in terms of growth inhibition towards cancer cells. Okay, so part of our research has also been to look into look at the propolis in terms of its use as a complementary medicine. And as I said earlier, the problem really is the variability in the material. It's not just coming from the fact that it could come from plant sources, but these different plant sources are often mixed in the propolis, and propolis from different areas is often pooled. So the material which could start off as being a pure material ends up being a mixture. So it's the beekeeping practice that really causes the propolis to get mixed. Okay, so the plant source is identified as a sedge plant variety, which is only found on Kangaroo Island, so we haven't found it anywhere in Australia. And this type of plant only grows in Australia. Okay, so the plant resin variability is extremely large. The propolis variability is still large because the bees are pulling resin from plants, so that reduces variability. And so we're researching into defining the variability and having a product which is as consistent as possible. Right, so the research has been helped a lot by the beekeepers on Kangaroo Island who provided propolis samples for us. The funding, I think it comes in that 0.4% that Alan Ben Susan was talking